the official definition that terrorism is calculated. Terrorists generally know what they are doing. Their selection of a target is planned and rational. They know their effect they seek. Terrorist violence is neither spontaneous nor is it random. Terrorism is intended to produce fear. By implication, that fear is engendered in someone other than the victim. In other words, terrorism is a psychological act conducted for its impact on an audience. So if I hit one person, I can paralyze everyone.
I wanted to give you a terrorism update because Pastor Paula White was talking about terrorism, and she made the great point that terrorists generally know what they're doing, which I thought was quite insightful. But let's have a look at what Angela Merkel is saying. Islamist terrorism is our common enemy. I don't think many people would argue with that, apart from maybe the terrorists themselves. But let's go back a few years. I know it's a long time ago now, but Germany were actually stirring up problems, stoking the fires of terrorism in Germany. The Syrian rebels, who not all, but many, who were Islamist radicals, jihadists, and I could give you the alphabet soup from Jaish al-Har and Ahrar al-Sham and Jabhat al-Nusra. The Syrian rebels were riddled with extremist Islamist factions, and Angela Merkel was funding these terrorists, arming them, helping them. And because of that, the turmoil escalated in Syria, and Germany ended up taking in a lot of the refugees that came about because of that conflict, because of that situation. And in some ways, Germany was very much praised for the way that they welcomed the refugees, the way that they looked after these people. But Germany did have, and I can't believe it did happen, they had Islamist terrorist attacks on their soil. I remember there was even a suicide bombing in Germany, and you wouldn't think that would happen, but if you go around stoking the fires of extremism in the Middle East and in other places, there is something they call blowback. So it's interesting that now we're all on the same page. And did it take ISIS for us to realize how dangerous this radical terrorism could be? But as I've said before, it's all on a grey scale. It's on a spectrum, and at the very, very extreme end, you've got ISIS. But the point's been made. George Galloway said it. The thing about the moderate rebels is that they only chop half your head off. There's still large elements of extremism. And in Austria, where there was another extremist attack recently, it's been confirmed that the Vienna shooter hosted an Islamist summit with extremists from Germany and Switzerland. So presumably not on Zoom. This was a summit where extremists from the neighbouring countries were able to freely congregate and hang out in groups, probably of more than 6, I imagine. So that's not good. More bad news. What can we do about this? What is to be done? Well, the EU's got an idea. How about a Europe-wide imam training body to crack down on the ideology of hatred? Maybe. How about preventing money from the countries where this extremist ideology is being propagated, making its way to funding it in Europe? How about that? Maybe boycott Saudi Arabia. That's one example. There's a lot of countries in the crosshairs for boycott at the moment. How about boycotting Saudi Arabia until they stop propagandizing extremism? That would be one solution. Might be better than a worldwide or a Europe-wide club to ban hatred. This is an ISIS supporter who planned to behead a soldier on Anzac Day. Anzac Day is the Australia and New Zealand Armed Forces Commemoration Day, kind of like a Remembrance Sunday, but for the Antipodean allies of the war effort. And I can't believe he was only 14 when he planned to do such a terrible thing. How indoctrinated, how brainwashed do you have to be planning that when you're 14? And he is to be freed next month. And how many times do we see an atrocity committed by someone that has been released early, or even released when really life imprisonment might have been a better option? But if someone is planning these things at 14, are they even old enough to understand what it is they are contemplating? And I remember the horrendous terrorist attack in Reading in the summer. It emerged that the attacker happened to be from Libya, another one of these regions where jihadists have descended upon the country and attempted to overthrow a secular nationalist leader. And that individual had been released, and he could have served more time in jail. And people were saying, had he had his full sentence completed and done another 18 months, the incident wouldn't have happened. Or maybe it would have happened 18 months later. Do these people actually heal in prison? Is prison working? If they are reoffending when they release them, maybe there's something else that needs to be done. I don't have the answers, and if you've got an answer, put it in the comments. I know it's not a very nice subject, but it's an important topic, and we have to address it. And this is up for parole. Patrick Kabil, 36, a convert from Willesden, and he wanted to join ISIS and go to where? Syria. I wonder why Syria became such a focus for people of this mindset. And of course, some people went to Syria perhaps with a good intention. Maybe they saw horrendous things there and they messed themselves up, and some of them returned to Europe and posed a danger to people here in Europe. This is news from Mozambique. Not good news either. ISIS-linked Islamists behead more than 50 people on a football pitch. Oh man. That's just absolutely horrendous. And how is a group that started as the so-called Islamic State in Iraq and Syria managed to spread its awful doctrine as far afield as Mozambique? And I know there's apparently cells in Nigeria as well. I believe Boko Haram had some kind of link to ISIS. So it's no longer an ideology that's contained to a certain geographical region. And here's a terrorist group in China. There they are, although they're not terrorists anymore, apparently. The US seal of approval for jihadist terrorist group is designed to cause chaos and unrest in China. So Mike Pompeo is saying that the East Turkestan Islamic movement should no longer be regarded a terrorist group. Is this a last-ditch effort to mess things up for the incumbent president, Joe Biden? Is the Republican Party here trying to make life difficult for their successors? Why would America decide that a terrorist group in China, their rival, a place that Joe Biden might actually kindle better friendship with, why is the US government suddenly saying no, these terrorists are no longer terrorists, they're one man's terrorists, but they're our freedom fighters? And it's interesting when you look at the list of terrorist groups. It changes, it grows and it shrinks. Some people get added, some people get taken away for political reasons. So I would be intrigued to know why this Republican government, from the party that gave you the Muslim ban, and Trump saying, I'm calling for a total shutdown on all Muslims, even though that wasn't true. And the so-called Muslim ban was actually a policy that was a hangover from the Obama administration. But for all the rhetoric, as he said, until we find out what the hell is going on. Maybe they think these guys aren't that, they don't look that extremist, do they? Have a little look at their passport picture there, and they're all wearing the mask, so they're obviously protecting themselves from the China virus, as he calls it. So you tell me, what is this strategic chess piece move? A last-ditch attempt to throw Biden under the bus? I don't know. Why would Mike Pompeo approve these jihadists as no longer terrorists? And here's one from Russia. A boy 16 years old screaming Allahu Akbar is shot dead by cops after knife attack on police. Yeah, a lot of the Islamists in Russia used to get a lot of support, a lot of help, a lot of training, a lot of CIA backing, because my enemy's enemy is my friend. But Vladimir Putin has managed to calm things down in the Caucasus region. He has a better relationship with his Muslim citizens. He likes to sit down for a chat with Khabib. So he's quite a pragmatist, and he seems to also have been influential, if not crucial, in bringing about some kind of peace in the Nagorno-Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. But it seems that the Armenians might have caught the raw end of the deal on that one. But don't forget how these situations are proxy wars, and you've got all kinds of people interfering and strange bedfellows. And in that conflict, as we've said before, Erdogan's Turkey are on the same team as Netanyahu and the Tel Aviv government. So that's ironic, isn't it? Just a quick update for you. That was the terrorism update, and we will be back on Friday night, live from 10. This has been Lessons for Life. Thank you for watching. We were here, and we're gone. Latest.